Well, cheers, guys. Happy day after honor flight.
And a happy day it is.
Yep. Prost.
School.
School.
So, what was it like setting your alarm clock at 2:15? 2:45.
Seemed kind of early to me.
Mm-hmm. Early.
It's a good start to the day.
At least mine went off.
Yeah,
True.
yes, indeed.
After laying there for about 5 minutes and realizing I didn't hear any footsteps upstairs, I should probably get up and see what was going on.
Probably.
No coffee. People are still sleeping.
We got it going. We were on the road by what, 3:30?
Yeah, it was a little after 3:30.
So,
3:30 was our target. We didn't do too bad.
yeah.
And it was only
probably
for-
didn't get out here until 3:35, something like that.
We still made it there, I think, right around 4:15, which was the early point, but there was
Yeah.
already a lot of people.
Yeah, there was already people there. And I was surprised at the number of people that were in wheelchairs, guys, old soldiers. And the weather was good and we got off the ground in a reasonable time
Mm-hmm.
and headed for Washington DC for a one-day trip that was sponsored by the North Star.
Honor flight program.
Yes, I knew. Well, I got Adams mixed in there because they have the Adams Legion Club has something to do with it. But yes, this was with the North Star Honor Flight, and it was very nice until we got to Washington D.C. in the zone, and then the pilot came on and said that there's an unexpected presidential activity on the ground that's gonna delay us. And if they delay us more than 25 minutes, we're gonna have to go to our alternate landing place, which he didn't say where that was. And I thought, oh man, these people have gone to all this work to put this program on, and maybe we're gonna get to do it and maybe we're not. But anyway, he got the clearing to come in on a short runway. He said it's gonna be a hard landing, and it was, second time around, because he got told to go around once because the planes were too close together. So, kind of a little excitement to begin the day with, but we got on the ground finally and got into our buses and got on our way.
Mm-hmm.
And we were in Arlington Cemetery, which is a very interesting place, and we had a guy on the bus that was our information guy, and he talked about all the different places we're gonna go see and the history of them and things like that. So it was very interesting indeed. And one of the things that was a very outstanding and memorable thing to me is that there's people that care enough to do this for veterans. There's being more appreciation for what veterans have done for the country and for the people that live in the country, and that's kind of nice. Jason, do you want to kind of throw something in here about the different places we went?
Well,
Where do we go first?
I think the big thing for me was probably the history teacher person that was the tour guide that really brought a lot of the places that we were going to life. I mean,
that's a good description of it.
It's one thing to just go see a memorial,
Yep.
the Iwo Jima memorial, but he talked about the why that was a memorial, I think that there were 70,000 Americans that invaded the island to take it. There were 22,000 Japanese. Their orders were, there is nobody coming for you. There is no rescue. Kill as many Americans as you can before you die. And there were 21,000 Japanese killed, 1,000 survived. There were 7,000 Americans that died. And he, as he pointed out a couple of different times, he referenced a book that said that the way that the guy described it was the Japanese were in the island, not on the island. And so as we're going to these memorials, he's sort of adding that background story to it that sort of just brings the whole thing that much more to life, rather than just going and saying, oh, well, here's a memorial. Same with Arlington, kind of the history behind, that was actually, that acreage was Robert E. Lee's, who then joined the Confederacy side when Virginia seceded and he had to give up the property. That was just, to me, that was a nice sort of touch. It wasn't just, we're on a bus driving around to see these different memorials. This guy added life to the whole thing.
Indeed he did. Indeed he did. Yeah. The Iowa Jima Memorial there, there was a story about one of them, Ira Hayes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a song, Johnny Cash sang it, and I think some other people did too. And he was an Indian. And as so many of these veterans that have these horrible memories did, why his life kind of went in the dumpster after he got out of the service, and eventually he died at a young age. It was a very sad story.
Well, and then the other thing that I don't think I knew, but apparently they put a flag up there, and the general or whoever it was that was there on the ground couldn't see it up on the hill, and he wasn't happy with it. So he sent more guys up there and said, you got to put that on a bigger pole and use a different flag so it's more prominent. And that was then the photo that the photographer got. And apparently somebody was doing a video also, but it took longer back then to process the video. And by that time, the photo had been processed and was in the newspapers, and that was the thing that got the recognition for all of it. So yeah, it was just, the guy that was adding all of that, or tour guide, whatever you call him, really added a lot of depth and meaning, I think, to a lot of those places that we went to see. The changing of the guard was really neat at Arlington. Being able to talk with one of the off-duty guards afterwards, and he did sort of a question and answer session and brought a lot of subtle behind the scene details kind of to life. And yeah.
And then the honor guard that was changing was for the tomb of the unknown soldier. And in that tomb there's the remains of a soldier from World War I, World War II, and Korea. And it was interesting the way they decided that they gathered the remains of 4 or 5 guys, soldiers, and then they wanted just one. And who did they pick to choose it?
Yeah, I don't.
Do you remember that? It was some soldier that got to choose that he didn't know. He didn't have a clue as to who any of them was, and he says, okay, that one. So, okay, they gathered up those remains, put them in a box, and sent them to Washington. And that went into the tomb of the unknown soldier, and nobody knows his name. So, except God.
And I didn't know, actually, there's 3 people in there.
Yeah, one from
World War I, World War II, and then the Korean.
They had one in there from Vietnam.
Yeah.
But got taken out because somebody was reading about this guy and some of the things that were found with him. And he thought, I think I know this guy, and so he called his soldier buddies' parents and told them, and so they contacted their congressman, and eventually the body was exhumed, and yeah, that was their son. So he went back home to be buried. That's right.
They were doing lawn care at Arlington?
Yes.
Oh.
With and there was a leaf blower,
Big one.
and I thought, this is perfect. I'm going to video this and send it to Colette.
He's so bad.
And then I went over to another place, and there's a sign that says something like silence and respect.
That's
And so I took a picture of that and the leaf blower video, and I sent it to Colette.
Good for you. I love it.
Did you
I
get
love
any
it.
response from her?
Yeah, well, my first attempt said you're like a message send failure.
That's right. Yeah, you couldn't send
So I
anything.
tried it again, and then I wasn't sure if just the picture went through, and so I had to ask for confirmation, and she said, unfortunately, yes, it did. It did go through.
That's right. That's right.
Mhm.
Still playing with his sister.
Out. The changing of the guard was supposed to be at 1 o'clock, and we got there I think about 10:02, and kind of watched the guy
Mhm.
walking back and forth, and I was watching my watch, kind of wondering, are they gonna, because that kind of sort of
Sorry, I don't understand.
would have been funny a little bit that once they started the changing of the guard, having the leaf blower in the background.
Mhm.
But about 12:59, all of that stopped.
Oh, dear.
So
Mm.
somebody was keeping an eye on the time, and they said, all right, time to stop. They got the changing of the guard coming. So,
And when I saw that soldier coming to that gate there, to the left where we were standing, and closed it or something, I knew something was going to happen. And then
oh yeah, all the same 3rd Division or whatever they call
Yeah.
it, but just a,
yeah, he just was. The other one was probably in what they used to call fatigue still or something, you know.
yeah.
Everyday work clothes. That was gonna manage the gate and who gets in and who doesn't get in. It was his job to open it up then when the new guard came. Yes.
Did you hear his phone go off?
No.
I'm pretty sure it was his phone.
Oh.
'Cause I started to hear this ring, 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 ring. And I was focused on
The gate guard.
these, yeah, the gate guard. I was focused on these guys, so I was trying to just keep the phone there, but I slowly looked over at him as he was putting the gate back together, and he had all he could do to keep from busting out laughing. I'm wondering if he didn't get chewed out for that later.
Probably
though.
did. If that other guy that was bringing the new guard in heard it, you can be sure that he got chewed out.
Yeah. One of the things I also, it was really a benefit to have that off-duty guy come out and do
Yes.
the question and answer
Yes, it
session,
was.
because I felt like we learned so much more
Yes.
about everything. But yeah, what he was talking about with like their 26-hour watches, and it's all cotton they're wearing. One guy was out there in the summertime and had a thermostat inside his uniform, and it was 100 degrees outside, and inside his uniform that thing read 136. Yeah.
Caused him to
Yeah.
sweat a little bit.
Well, I guess
I was
the
surprised-
opposite would be true in the winter.
I was surprised to learn that those uniforms were cotton.
Yeah.
Because that must be special for their job or something, cause at least my uniform, my dress uniform was wool.
Yeah.
Real wool, 100% wool.
So somebody asked him if he preferred winter or summertime. He said wintertime because they don't care what you're wearing underneath. He said, truth be told, I'm wearing my pajamas underneath my uniform, and I'm nice and cozy warm out there. You know, you can add layers, but in the summertime, you can only take off so much. Yep.
Oh yes, quite an experience.
I know you guys went to the Vietnam Memorial and
Yep.
the Lincoln Memorial.
And he hiked up the steps of the Lincoln Memorial.
He made me walk up the 325 steps to the Lincoln Memorial.
No, I asked, do you want to take the ramp that goes, or do you want to just go up the steps? He said, let's go up the steps.
Uh-huh.
So you've got Lincoln, Vietnam, Arlington, the Marine Corps Memorial at Iwo Jima. I saw the picture of you at, well, no, that was Arlington.
Martin Luther King.
Oh, and the World War II Memorial. But you went to a Martin Luther King Memorial?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was, at the end of the day, where the bus stopped, there was the FDR this way, and there was the MLK that way.
And then you went to the Air Force Memorial, but I feel like I'm missing two.
That was a drive.
Well, right, with the drive-by on the way to the airport.
I was surprised at how big the FDR one was. They said 4 rooms, and we're thinking a house with 4 rooms, but it was like a huge 4-wall structure times 4 going that direction.
No cement.
We got to the first one, and then we saw other people off in the distance,
Just bare.
way down there, and then realized, holy crap, this thing just goes that far. And you know, that was the last stop of the day, and I think we were both getting a little bit feeling worn out from walking and everything, so we went to the first room and then turned around and came back and found a good park bench to sit down on.
Yeah, Jason found a good park bench and went and got our supper that was in the box, and that was a good idea he had, because we had one of the better places to enjoy our meal.
Nice.
I was telling Barbara last night though that, like, I really legitimately enjoyed, we'll call him a tour guide. He was a middle school teacher. This was his 48th trip to DC. I think the first time doing this with the whole veteran thing. Pause.
I think this. And,
Yes.
Yeah, so the guy that was doing the, let's call it the tour guide, middle school teacher, I don't know if you picked up on this, but kind of when I'm reflecting, he also had a pretty good sense of humor. I think when we drove by the Jefferson Memorial, you know, he's bringing up all sorts of little history details as we're going along, just driving by a lot of this stuff, but he's still bringing in information about the stuff that we're seeing. And I think he said something about the domed top of the Jefferson Memorial, and in a sort of offhand passing comment to finish it up, he said, I don't know, I just happen to be a fan of domes. And if you noticed, he was bald. He kind of said, I happen to be a fan of domes.
Oh, yes.
And then when we went by the Pentagon, he said, yes, if you look to your left, you'll see here's the Pentagon, and this is this part of the area, and that's where the flight, whatever, from 911 went down. And back when they originally constructed the building, the initial plans were for it to be an octagon, but the budget was tight, and so they had to cut corners, and it became a Pentagon.
Corners.
And actually, quite a few people laughed at that. And he said, "Man, I love you guys. When I tell my middle school students this, they just go, huh?"
I remember that, yeah.
So, I think that's about all I got to say.
Okay,
Your
well,
turn. Your turn.
when we finally got on the airplane heading back to Minnesota, and I was kind of amazed that I could walk from the bus all the way to the gate to get on the airplane, but I did. And somewhere en route, why they said we have mail call. And that's a popular time of the day for any military person. It was when they have mail call. At least the way they used to do it. They'd just bring out this bag of mail and pull envelopes out and call out names, and so I think they had a little more organized than that. But I had mail on en route to Minnesota from I was just in awe of the number of letters that I had. Never had that many when I was in the Army, overseas or something. But it was really neat, and I read all of them, and I am going to respond to all of them. And then we finally landed in Rochester, and I could not believe the amount of people that were there. It was just, there had to be hundreds of people there, that besides relatives of the veterans that were on the airplane, there was total strangers that were there to thank us for our service and welcome us back home again. And I thought, this is the real America, not the crap we watch on TV about shootings here and killings there and everything. This is people that are recognizing the service that several, both men and women, contributed to our country and to the citizens of this country. And it was just like a welcome home party, guys. And it was just really nice. And I felt sorry for anybody that wasn't there, because it was the real America. This is what we're all about. So
It was
that's
really quite something. I
just amazing.
found myself walking through and several times just going, wow.
Yeah. I think quite a few of us kind of teared up over the number of total strangers who were waving and smiling and saying thank you for your service. It was a great day. It was a great day, and it was a really long day. I gave it up about 11:30 and went to bed.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you were sawing some logs in there too.
I was.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Jason finally gave it up at what, about 1 o'clock?
Something
Oh,
like
Lord.
that. I was just kind of, I think, a little bit wired from
Big day,
Oh,
yeah.
lots of.
the energy and
And it
all
was
that.
so wonderful, Jason, that you were able to join me. It just was so wonderful.
Yeah, it
We
was.
have traveled a lot together, but you know, some of these veterans had a guardian with them that they didn't know at all. But I had my son that was also a veteran
You had the real deal.
with 7 years of service in the Coast Guard. And so it was just a wonderful,
Yep.
wonderful experience.
I am grateful that we were able to do that together.
I am too.
And when you got back, you almost swept your bride off her feet, like that picture from New York City with that sailor. I saw a smooch in there, but you guys did a great job.
Well, cheers to that, and I think that might be a wrap.
Cheers to that. I think so too.